Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that cuts through the noise to get you the insights you really need.
Glad to be here.
So today we're diving into something many of you in business development probably feel you've got a pretty good handle on: business development.
Right.
You hear that term, and maybe your mind jumps straight to marketing or sales. It's a really common connection people make, almost automatic.
It is.
But what if that thinking, that assumption that BD is just sales or marketing in disguise, what if that's actually, what if it's killing your deals, silently hurting your pipeline?
It's a strong thought, isn't it? A bit unsettling, maybe, because the reality is the whole landscape of how customers engage, how they research, how they build loyalty, it's fundamentally shifted.
Right under our feet.
Exactly. So today we want to pull back the curtain on a very specific and often, frankly, misunderstood specialty within BD prospect development. And it's way more than just, qualifying leads.
That's right. Our mission here is to really unpack its crucial strategic role. We're going to get into some honestly surprising data about buyer behavior, stuff that might make you rethink your whole approach.
It definitely challenges some long-held beliefs about building loyalty and closing deals today.
Yeah, and we're drawing insights from a business development body of knowledge PDF we looked at. It really confronts a lot of the traditional thinking head on.
And for you, the business developer listening right now, understanding this difference, this nuance between, say, general marketing and this specialized prospect development role, and especially the data we're about to share. It's not just theory.
No, not at all.
This is about real practical improvements, optimizing your pipeline, boosting your win rate, your actual likelihood of closing deals, and even cutting down your churn rate. It's really about being effective and efficient.
Working smarter in a world where buyers have just, so much information and control. Okay, so let's unpack this. Because as our source material highlights, prospect development isn't just a task. It's one of 5 distinct BD specialties. It's not just another word for marketing or sales.
No, it has its own specific purpose.
Which is?
At its core, prospect development is about efficiently and effectively converting those early sort of information-curious prospects, the information-qualified leads, IQLs, into genuinely sales-ready ones, the sales-accepted leads or SLs.
So it's that conversion process.
Yeah.
Turning curiosity into readiness.
Exactly. And it sounds simple, but there's a lot of strategic nuance packed into that conversion.
And where does this typically happen in the customer's journey?
Good question. This function primarily operates during what's called the activation phase. That's the critical time when prospects are engaged, they're showing interest through different signals. But crucially, they haven't necessarily said, I want to buy, or asked to talk to sales yet. Understanding this phase, which is often overlooked, is key.
Okay, the activation phase. And you mentioned surprising data. Speaking of impact, there's something really compelling here that kind of flips things on their head, doesn't it?
It really does. We tend to assume product quality or maybe great customer service after the sale, what we usually call customer experience or CX, that's what builds loyalty.
Seems logical.
But a major study back in 2012 by the Corporate Executive Board, CEB, they talked to 5,000 buyers. It revealed something startling. Honestly, it made me do a double take too.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What do they find?
Get this. A staggering 54%, over half of those 5,000 buyers rated prospect experience as the single biggest factor shaping their loyalty to a corporation.
Wait, prospect experience. So how they were treated before they even bought anything.
Exactly. How they felt, what they experienced during that research and evaluation phase before they were even a customer. It wasn't about the product they ended up using, but the journey they took to get there.
Wow, okay, 54%. What about the other factors like product or price?
That's where the contrast gets even sharper. Only 19% said the actual product or service delivery customer experience, the CX part, drove their loyalty.
Only 19%. That's way lower than the prospect experience.
Much lower. And price. A mere 9% said price drove loyalty. It was the lowest factor by far.
9%. We spend so much time optimizing price.
Right. We focus on price. We promise amazing service after the sale. But the data says that pre-sale journey is more than twice as important as post-sale CX and almost 6 times more important than price for building loyalty.
So what's the takeaway here for the business developer listening?
It means focusing intensely on how prospects feel and what they experience during that pre-customer phase. It's paramount.
Yeah.
It's not just about having the lowest price or even necessarily how great your product is once they use it.
It's about that early journey, building trust and connection before the sale.
Precisely. It lays the foundation.
That 54% is, it's mind-blowing. But practically speaking, What does focusing on prospect experience actually involve? Is it just, having a nice website? Or is there more? Because my gut reaction, and probably a lot of listeners too, is, okay, but we need to be proactive, get sales involved.
That's a really good question, and it leads us straight into another common instinct, a potentially dangerous one, actually.
Which is?
Getting the sales team involved too early. We all feel that urge, right? Got a lead, quick, get sales on it.
Absolutely. Strike while the iron's hot.
Except that the evidence strongly suggests this can actually be harmful. It can kill deals. It feels completely counterintuitive, but the data is pretty clear.
Okay, tell me about the data. What supports that?
Well, a recent 6sense study analyzed 900 buyer surveys. It found that buyers initiate contact themselves 83% of the time.
83%. So most of the time, sales reps only find out about a deal when the buyer explicitly reaches out.
That's what it suggests. They wait until the buyer raises their hand, so to speak. And here's the really interesting part. The study also found that early direct outreach by sales reps, it made no difference in getting a response.
No difference. So those early calls or emails, they just didn't work.
Buyers didn't respond until they felt they'd done enough independent research on their own terms. But it gets worse.
Worse? How?
When sales team contact happens before the conversion phase, remember, that's about 70% of the entire customer journey. The chance of actually landing the deal goes down, not up.
Down. So reaching out early actively hurts your chances.
That's what the study indicates. It's like you're interrupting a critical self-directed process they need to go through.
Wow, that flies in the face of so much sales training. Is there other research backing this up?
Oh, yes. It's not just one study. Multiple sources show buyers are well over halfway through their decision process before they even think about talking to sales. CEB and Google found the average B2B buyer is 57% of the way there.
57%.
B2B International found something similar. Buyers typically complete 60% of the purchase process on their own.
60%.
And maybe the most telling stat comes from Gartner. They found 75% of B2B buyers actually prefer a rep-free sales experience.
3/4 of them want to avoid sales reps.
They want to control their own information gathering, it seems.
Okay, so if buyers are doing all this research on their own, sometimes for 60% or more of their journey, and they often don't want to talk to sales early on, what is prospect development's role then? How do we engage if they're avoiding contact?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the answer lies in understanding those subtle intent signals buyers give off at different stages. It's about engaging differently.
Intent signals. Okay, let's break that down. How does that work?
Think of the buyer journey having different levels of engagement. Initially, in the awareness phase, the prospect has basically zero intent. They're just becoming aware of a problem, maybe, or a potential solution. They might not even know your company exists.
Just browsing, maybe?
Right. An intent signal gets created when they first directly engage with your brand somehow. That's called brand activation. And that's the moment they move into the activation phase as an information qualified lead, or IQL.
Okay, so an IQL is someone who's just left that cold awareness phase. A cold lead, marketing source lead, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Though the specific signals that define an IQL are set by the corporation's leadership. It could be someone downloading a white paper or an ebook, a lead magnet.
Right, giving their email for content.
Or it could be a social media follower, someone watching your videos, attending an online event. Many companies use lead scoring systems.
Ah, lead scoring. So you assign points for different actions.
Precisely. Points for different intent signals. And some signals get weighted higher than others, like a request for information, an RFI. That's a pretty strong signal. They're actively asking questions about their needs, trying to figure things out.
Okay, so IQL is that first spark. Then, as they move through this activation phase, they show more interest.
They do. They start emitting more intent signals. This is where we talk about perceived intent. Notice it's perceived, not declared. They still haven't explicitly said, I want to buy.
Got it. So what comes after IQL?
That leads to the marketing qualified lead, or MQL. Think of this as a warm lead. They've hit a certain lead score threshold, again, defined internally. They're showing more significant engagement.
Makes sense. More interaction equals warmer lead.
And for some companies, especially software or service providers with free trial.
The freemium model.
Right. You might have a product qualified lead or PQL. Here, their usage of the free product itself is the intent signal. How actively they use it indicates potential interest in upgrading. It's like a built-in test drive.
Okay, so we've got zero intent, then IQL, initial spark, then MQL or PQL, warmer perceived intent. What's the final stage as they leave this activation phase?
That's when we get to declared intent. This is where they become a sales accepted lead, or SL.
The SL, that's the goal, right? The hot lead.
It is. An SL is someone who has explicitly declared their intent to purchase a product. They've raised their hand, maybe filled out a contact form, requested a demo or a quote.
They're in market.
Exactly. But, and this is important, declared intent doesn't guarantee they'll buy your product, just a product. They're ready to evaluate specific solutions seriously.
And you mentioned sometimes these SLs just appear. The dark funnel.
Ah, yes, the dark funnel. It sounds a bit mysterious, doesn't it?
It does, like they've been lurking.
In a way, they have. These are prospects doing their research quietly in private online forums, on third-party review sites, using open source search, talking to peers.
Places where we can't easily track their engagement.
Correct. They might consume your content, listen to a podcast like this, read blog posts, but if it's not gated or doesn't require interaction, it doesn't register as a typical intent signal in your system. So you might not detect them at all until they suddenly pop up at the end of the activation phase, ready to talk.
Having done maybe months of research totally under the radar.
Potentially. And that's also why it's crucial to remember not all IQLs become SLs. Some just stop engaging, or they realize your solution isn't the right fit for their needs. They never declare purchase intent.
Okay, this paints a much clearer picture. With buyers doing so much independent research, often in this dark funnel, and reacting badly to early sales contact, it really highlights the real mission of prospect developers, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's far more strategic than just lead handoffs.
So what is that core mission then?
The true mission is to proactively discover, assess, and nurture prospect perceived intent. The key is doing this before the prospect actually declares intent to purchase.
So engaging during that crucial activation phase while they're still forming opinions.
Exactly. It means passively and proactively influencing their requirements, helping shape what they think they need to maximize your probability of win, your PWIN.
How do you influence requirements without being pushy or salesy?
By sharing genuinely helpful consultative advice, both with the wider community where your prospects hang out and sometimes directly with individual prospects, but always from a position of expertise, not sales. Think of it as becoming their trusted, maybe even unbiased research advisor.
Okay, trusted advisor. Give me an example. What does that actually look like day to day for a prospect developer? It's not just sending emails, clearly.
No, definitely not. It's about being a valuable resource. For instance, they might monitor online forums where potential customers discuss industry challenges. Instead of jumping in with, hey, buy our product, they might offer a genuinely insightful comment.
Like sharing relevant research.
Exactly. Maybe linking to a third-party study or even an informative, non-promotional blog post from their own company that directly addresses the pain point being discussed. No hard sell.
Just being helpful.
Or they might organize educational webinars focused on industry best practices, not product features. They engage thoughtfully on social media, answering questions, sharing insights. It's about demonstrating expertise and genuine helpfulness.
So they're subtly shaping the prospect's perspective, building credibility long before a sales conversation is even on the table.
Precisely. They're building social capital, becoming that known, trusted voice in the community, a subject matter expert. It's absolutely a strategic, long-game approach.
And the ultimate goal
is to build deep trust through both customer and community advocacy. That trust directly fuels corporate growth. When a prospect finally does raise their hand, they already feel a connection, a positive association with your brand because of the value the prospect developer provided earlier.
Which makes them much more receptive when the sales team does eventually get involved.
Absolutely. That proactive trust building, especially in the dark funnel where prospects are researching quietly, that's what really sets top-performing prospect development teams apart.
This has been incredibly insightful, really drilling down into a side of business development that's clearly so much more nuanced, so much more impactful than just lead gen or early sales. It shifts the whole focus from chasing leads to cultivating trust.
It really does.
Okay, let's boil this down. What are the top 3 takeaways you want our listeners, our fellow business developers to really walk away with today?
All right, number 1, and maybe the most surprising, prospect experience is king for loyalty. Remember that CEB study? How prospects feel before they buy matters more for the long-term loyalty than product or price.
That 54% number versus 19% for CX and just 9% for price, it's about the pre-sale journey.
Exactly. Takeaway number 2. Timing is everything with sales. Engaging sales too early before that 70% mark in the buyer journey can actively hurt your chances. Buyers want to research independently first.
Respect their process, don't interrupt it. Got it. And the third.
Number 3, prospect development is strategic trust building. Its real mission isn't just passing leads. It's proactively discovering and nurturing perceived intent, influencing requirements through helpfulness, and building trust through advocacy. That's what drives growth.
Being helpful, not just pitching. Okay, great summaries. And maybe one final provocative thought for everyone to chew on as they go about their week.
How about this? Given that buyers are 57 to 60% through their decision process before talking to sales, and 75% prefer a rep-free experience, what hidden dark funnel research are your prospects doing right now?
Ooh, good question. Where are they looking that you don't see?
And more importantly, how can your prospect development efforts proactively meet them there? How can you build that crucial trust and shape their journey long before they ever fill out that Contact Us form?
Thinking about that could genuinely revolutionize your approach, finding ways to be helpful in those hidden corners.
It really could.
Thank you so much for breaking this down. It's given us a lot to think about.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating and evolving area.
And thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope this look into prospect development helps you rethink your strategies and find even greater success by focusing on where your buyers truly are.
Until next time.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.